As you might already know, there are 4 major temperament types. We have the sanguines, the cholerics, the phlegmatics, and the melancholy. But hold on. How well do you really know them? Surprisingly, these temperaments are actually in the Bible. And today we'll play a game of matching them up together. So, game rules. Let's set the game rules before we start. I'll read out the 4 scriptures that contains the 4 personality types. You'll be surprised, trust me. And then I'll introduce you to 4 people, one after the other though, and you do a job of matching them together. You'll love it, trust me. I'm really so excited about this game. Now there are timestamps just below the video, so if you already know about the temperaments, feel free to skip onto the game part of the video. But then if you don't, or you want to even find out more, let's jump on this together. So the scripture is Proverbs 30 verse 11 to 14. You probably have seen it before, but you didn't know it was the 4 temperament types that it's talking about. So let's read it together. Please, King James Version. No other version is able to do justice to this scripture like King James, just for this sake, so please, King James Version. There's a generation that curseth their father and doth not bless their mother. 12. There's a generation that are pure in their own eyes and yet is not washed from their filthiness. 13. There's a generation, oh how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. 14. There's a generation whose teeth are as swords and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth and the needy from amongst men. I didn't know it was in the Bible too. So I guess probably your mind might be racing to which is which. Okay, so first up, I'll introduce you to Sam the Sanguine. Now Sam is a very social guy who likes to be with people. He's outgoing and loves to shake hands. He brings life and energy into any room he enters. Inactivity causes him stress because the pace at which he lives his life is fast and furious. Sam excels in communication-oriented things, but he does not relate well to tasks. He is undisciplined and his things are always all over the place. While he's outgoing and enthusiastic, warm, compassionate, and seems to relate well to other people's feelings, yet he can be rude and uncaring. He isn't really a faithful or loyal friend, since he doesn't want to be burdened down with commitments. He just wants to have fun. He never recognizes his failures but exaggerates to appear more successful than he actually is. He volunteers for difficult tasks and he can and will complete the project so long as his ego is being fed. However, at the first sign indicating that he is not the greatest thing that has ever happened to the world, he quits. He just stops and walks away and inwardly turns into himself, caring nothing about the project or those depending upon him. He gets easily devastated if not constantly reassured he is loved and appreciated. He is very demanding of other people for love and affection and gets plagued with feelings of jealousy when the love and attention he feels belongs exclusively to him is given to others. So here are 10 strengths and weaknesses that tells you more about Sam. My timer will run for about 3 seconds, but then feel free to pause the video if you need more time. And the answer is verse 13. So let's look at it together. There's a generation, oh how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. Why is this a sanguine? Because they're the life of the party and they always need to be center stage. So this scripture appeals to the sanguine very well. So we'll be taking note of your score because we use that at the end of the video. Okay, so next up, Melody the melancholy. Melody needs to learn to communicate her feelings. Emotionally, she's very protective and guarded. The way she demonstrates or says that she loves someone is by being dependable and responsible, not in physical or verbal terms necessarily. Because of her intellectual and analytical energy, she can see the end result of a project before moving forward. Melody has a very sensitive emotional nature. Feelings dominate her being. Sometimes mood will lift her to extreme height. At other times, she will be gloomy and depressed. Her secondary temperament as a phlegmatic helps balance this out occasionally, as everyone has 2, primary and then secondary. Melody is an introvert and a loner. She's more task-oriented as opposed to relationship-oriented. She's a perfectionist and sets unreasonable standards and goals for herself and the people around her. She's a very loyal person to her family and friends. If she makes a promise, she'll keep it. She's very creative but prone to deep depression. She's a very private person as well as very serious. She's self-motivated and doesn't respond to the promise of reward nor the threat of punishment. She knows her limitations and rarely takes on more than she can do. She's very self-centered. Her extreme sensitive nature causes her to be easily offended or insulted. She can be suspicious and jump to unfounded conclusions. She may be calm and quiet on the surface, but she gets angry and resentful often. She tends to keep those feelings to herself until they build up and eventually the anger explodes in a fit of rage. So here are 10 strengths and weaknesses to guide you which scripture best describes Melody. Remember, my timer is going to run for 3 seconds, or you can pause the video if you need more time. I hope you're having fun though. And the correct answer is verse 11. So let's look at it together. There's a generation that curseth their father and does not bless their mother. So why is this Melody? Melody is usually critical of others and hard to please. So this scripture talks about her very well. So you can update your score. I hope you're having fun. Next up, third, we're going to meet Phil, the phlegmatic. To the observer, Phil is extremely slow-paced and stubborn. Phil goes through life doing as little as possible, quietly and expending little energy. It's not clear whether Phil has very little energy or it is because he refuses to use what little energy he has. He's task-oriented with a great capacity for work that requires precision and accuracy and expends a minimal amount of energy. Only sleep can regenerate Phil. He might never use his God-given ideas and talents because it will require expending too much energy and effort to put these ideas into action. Phil sits back and watches other temperaments busy doing things wrongly and looking at all the things in the world that needs to be changed. Identifying the injustice is not difficult for Phil. However, he will seldom, if ever, initiate action against the injustice. He will try to inspire others to do something, but isn't likely to personally get involved himself. He's the only temperament the choleric is unable to control. He frustrates cholerics tremendously. He is the most stable temperament. He's the most stubborn of all temperaments when it comes to making changes. Because of his tendency to uninvolvement, he's a natural negotiator and diplomat. Follow peace with all men is his favorite scripture. He has no fear of rejection and can handle unaffection and hostile people. He's calm and an easygoing person who isn't plagued with the emotional outbursts and exaggerated feelings, anger, bitterness or unforgiveness as our other temperaments. His cool, complacent attitude hurts people that love him. The way he observes can cause him to never give of himself and therefore never receive either. So here are 10 strengths and weaknesses to guide you which scripture best defines Phil. Just have 2 scriptures, so you should be able to get this one. The timer started. Alright, so the answer is verse 12. Now let's look at it together. There's a generation that are pure in their own eyes and yet is not washed from their filthiness. So why does this describe a phlegmatic? Because he's self-righteous a lot in their head and judges others. So they're pure in their eyes, but they are not washed from their filthiness. And now I want to meet Chloe, the choleric. She's extremely tough-willed. When she has made up her mind, she rarely, if ever, changes it. Even if she was wrong, she'll seldom listen to the advice of anyone else. She wants to have total control over herself and anyone around her. She's of the opinion and belief that she knows what's best for those around her. Chloe has a severe problem with anger. She has a tendency to seldom express her emotions such as love, tenderness, warmth, and compassion. Her sanguine side, being her secondary, helps offset this. When other people express these emotions, she considers them as unnecessary and useless. Chloe believes that no one else can carry out a task as well as she does. She has a tendency to overwork herself and is prone to burnout. When carrying out various tasks to accomplish goals, she is capable of undertaking any behavior necessary to get it done. Unlike Melody, the melancholy, who is capable of seeing the pitfalls of a project before taking action, she refuses to see any pitfall. She will forge ahead regardless of the cost. The end justifies the means. She is extremely self-centered and the need of others do not matter. She is perfectionistic and even her own flaws are flawless. When she is wrong, she does not accept it. Hers is the only way that is correct and matters. Here are 10 strengths and weaknesses to help you know who Chloe is. But there's only one scripture left, so everybody should know who Chloe is, which is verse 14. There's a generation whose teeth are swords and their jaw teeth as knives, to devour the poor from off the earth and the needy from amongst men. Why does she satisfy this? Because number one, she's unsympathetic, and then she could also be rude and tactless. So their words are arrows. That was fun, right? So let me know your score in the comment section. I'm sure everyone should have gotten at least 1 or 2. Thank you so much for watching. I want to invite you to give this video a like. If you liked it, please give this video a like. Let's see if we can get it to 50 likes. Can we do it? Depends on you. So please help me. Let's see if we can get this video to 50 likes. Thank you. And then if you like this video, you want to check out this one right here next after watching this. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. I post videos twice weekly, so subscribe so that I can get notified whenever I upload a video. And then I'll see you in the next one. Bye.